Our first speaker today is Miss Denise Trigg. Ms. Trigg, would you please come up? Has evolved into being a community activist, and you're going to touch on the violence aspect of Fort Wayne?
Yes.
Please.
Hello. I've been asked several times since the death of my son last year in March that what can we as parents do to stop some of the violence, and the only solution I've come up with is first God, but I can't impress that upon anybody. Each person has to serve their higher power how they serve it. But one of the biggest issues I'm finding out and I'm dealing with myself as a parent, we need to take back our community. It's not up to the police, it's not up to the churches, it's not up to the city councilmen. It's up to each parent to take back your neighborhood and to involve every other parent. We tend to close a blind eye on this, and I've ruffled a couple feathers, but I know as far as with my son and other children that I dealt with that a lot of times we turn our head because once they get a certain age, oh, well, he know better or she know better. They never know enough because, you know, growing up, I'm in that age group where I grew up where even as a grown person, I was still my mother's child. And there were still things I was obligated to do in front of her that I bet she better not catch me doing somewhere else because that's just the way she was. And I mean, I'm speaking on it because, like I said, I'm not perfect. Right now, I'm putting myself out here to be transparent, and I've already been attacked by the media. I've been attacked by politicians. My daughters are being attacked at their jobs. Through our neighborhood health clinic, they're attacking my daughter that she works for, saying that I shouldn't be on TV. That's not professional. And my whole thing is, when does it stop? When do we as a black community say we need to take back our streets? I have met so many parents that are scared to come outside, scared to even ask their children what they're doing because they really don't want to know that, yes, my child is out there doing that. And I'm speaking on it because it has to stop. It affected me when people were dying, but it really hit hard as to what role I play in this community when I lost my son. And I realized I had to take responsibility and admit that as a parent, it's not about being the best parent, but it's some things that we lack on. We lack the responsibility and we let them just do. And since his death, I have become a very big advocate of promoting the community to pick back up the pieces. Stop waiting for the agencies. Stop waiting for the police to come knock on your door and tell you something. Go find where your child is, your neighbor's child. Start being concerned, because my age group has to look at it this way. In a minute here, we're going to be retiring. And these kids that are out here gunning down each other, who's going to be there to take care of us? When we go to nursing homes or retirement homes, everybody needs somebody. And if they're all dead, who's going to do it? And not only that, who's going to take care of these kids that they're leaving out here? I have a 4-year-old granddaughter, and every day I have to explain to her that your daddy is in heaven. And at 4 years old, that's not something that a 4-year-old should have to even deal with. She shouldn't even have to know about that. She can know that there's a heaven and hell, but she shouldn't have to understand why she had to give her daddy to heaven, but she gets to still be here and see her mommy cry, her grandma cry, her aunties, her cousins. So, I mean, my aspect of it is I'm asking every parent, I'm challenging every parent. I dare you to step out of your house and speak out in your community. I'm opening up the Eagle's Nest. I have my program coordinator here, Francis Gardner, and I also have 2 gentlemen here. They're going to be helping us with our music program. I have Elijah the Prophet and Prophet Marcus. They promote clean rap music. I have no problem with rap music, but I will not promote it anymore if all you're talking about is behind shaking, popping a pill, or just going out here gunning down anybody's child. Because at the end of the day, not only did I lose my child, but the young man who killed my son, those parents are going to lose them when they go to the prison systems. So it's death either way. Both aspects of it is death, and my heart goes out to it because, like I've said before, and I'll say it again, I forgive them. I forgive those young boys, because what our society is teaching our kids what loyalty is, that's not what loyalty is. Loyalty is not being friends with somebody because today you and him got on the same shoes, but tomorrow you're mad at him because he's talking to a girl you like and you're ready to shoot him. Where is that loyalty? And we keep talking about snitching. It's not snitching if you are in trouble or you see somebody in trouble and you ask for help. How is that snitching? How is that snitching? I have a young man that just got out of prison that was sentenced to 10 years. He didn't snitch. He held his tongue, but now he's regretting it because he's paying for it. His child doesn't know him. Child has no idea who he is. The child is now calling somebody else daddy. But that's the price he paid for saying he wouldn't snitch, as opposed to what his guy said in the clip. I'm being honest. I'm challenging teenagers. I'm challenging little kids. I'm challenging grandmothers. I'm challenging my churches, because I'm asking, where are you? Where is my church? Where is any of my churches? I don't have to be a member to be a Christian. And I feel like it's wrong how the churches have did this last year. There were churches that denied kids to be buried there because they thought they were gang affiliated. And I think that is terrible, because Christians don't do Christians like that. And if you're not a Christian, those are the ones you need to be reaching out if you are a Christian. So like I said again, and I promote it, I am challenging all of Fort Wayne, the south side of Fort Wayne, to step out of your boundaries and start acting like it's your business. Because if a child gets gunned down on your steps, it's your business. Whether it's your child, my child, anybody's child, you should know what's going on in your neighborhood. You shouldn't feel like I need to hurry up and get out the car and get in the house. Let's take our neighborhood back. We're promoting a walk next week. It's called the Hope Walk. We're going to start with the first homicide last year, and we're going to walk that street, because between the hours of 3 and 6, we have found out that most rapes, homicides, teen pregnancies, and drug use is happening between the hours of 3 6 p.m. If anybody is interested, you can contact me, Denise Trigg, 418-7650. If not, you can contact Susie Beard at the Matthew 25 Clinic. There's ways. I'm not asking you to go out and smack a kid around. I'm just asking you to take a stand and say you're tired. If you're tired, stand up. But now I'd like to introduce the 2 young men that will be working in our music program at the Eagle's Nest, Prophet Elijah and Prophet Marcus.
Ms. Trigg, before you bring them up, I want to ask you a few questions, if I may. Then we'll get to the gentleman. Now, let me ask you, all right, now you mentioned a couple of things here. You said that the media was kind of against you, and the politicians and other people were kind of on your case. What do you mean?
When I say that, a lot of them, I'm not clean Jean. I have a history. I do have a Class D felony for driving a car that I didn't even know was stolen, but the law said I was responsible. So I was charged with that felony. And I pay for it every day as far as certain jobs that I'm qualified for when they do a criminal history. They see that, no, they won't hire me, even though I might have, I got the degree, got the education. No, I've been attacked by the churches, because they feel like I shouldn't be speaking out because I was a single mother. My son was associated with boys that they think are gang related. Things like that. He was denied being buried at 3 different churches of pastors that know my uncle that was a pastor, and was denied because, no, we don't want to be affiliated with that. It could be something bad that's happening. The media, they've gotten better, but at first it was the big thing with putting my child's name in there, exposing where we lived when he was shot prior to that. I'm still fighting with that, because when a person is shot, a gunshot victim is shot, their name, address, and face is not supposed to be on the news. When he was gunned down 30 days before he died, our address, his name, and the picture of the house was on the news that same moment that he was being gunned down. And those are things that I felt like put my family at risk for him to be murdered 30 days later. As far as with the churches, another issue with the churches is I have reached out to them. We have reached out to certain ministers, and a lot of them is, we don't have time. We don't have time. We just need to worry about what we're worrying about. Your community is where you worry about. We have more churches on the south side of town than we have anywhere in this city, and not one of these churches has spoke up and said, okay, maybe I can't help you, Mom, but you have a grandchild, you have other grandchildren. We have schools in the community that are not speaking up and dealing with these issues at all. These kids are going to school after seeing their family members murdered, and nobody speaks on them. And then when I've addressed it, basically I get the runaround. Same way with the Fort Wayne Police Department. That gang task force harassed my son up until the day he died. Then after he died, I didn't get a detective on the case for 2 months. So all evidence to prove who murdered him was gone. And as far as my daughter right now is working through the neighborhood health clinic. She's being harassed. They're not physically coming at her, but they're coming at her boss like it's unprofessional for your relative to be on TV advocating anything and you work in the dental. I don't see what that has to do with anything. She has her certifications, she has her qualifications, but a lot of it is, I think, reason why I've been harassed because I'm a young single black woman in the hood, And I decided to speak up instead of doing the normal, what everybody else is doing, go get drunk and act like it didn't happen. It happened, and I deal with it every day. I deal with it on the aspect of my granddaughter, it was her dad, and on the aspect that my other 4 grandkids were there and witnessed it. Witnessed me hold my child as he died. Witnessed me ask Jesus Christ to help him, and then had to go to school that Monday like nothing happened. And nobody at the schools has intervened and said we need to help. And I'm tired of it, because one of the reasons why we're oppressed is because we don't know how to ask. And when we do reach out, they mock us. And I'm tired of it. We are a society over on the south side of town. We are in our own society sometimes, I feel like. Because when you reach out for help, it's always we can't do anything. I'm reaching out not for people to help me. I'm reaching out for my own community to help. Let's help each other. So the Eagle's Nest is helping promote programs for not only for the children, for the teenagers, for the young adults out of school, for the parents that want to be better. That's my thing. Instead of getting a place for the kids to come and play, no, this is going to be a place, it's family oriented. Your parents are going to be obligated to give some time to see what you're doing. Because any time my children left that house, even grown, I would talk to my kids at least 6-7 times a day, get on their nerves. Because that's what you do as a parent, because that's what our parents did. My mom got on my nerves, loved her to death, but she knew every aspect of what I was doing in my life, even outside of her home when I was in my own house.
Well, you know, getting back to the pastors and politicians, what have you, they do know that you was this kid's mother, correct?
Yes. And it was even commented, his funeral was on a Thursday. That Sunday, a pastor went to church and had a sermon about how I was a liar for saying that my son went to heaven, that God would not forgive somebody like him. And I haven't addressed that issue yet, and I'm not mad, because at the end of the day, I only have to answer to God. I don't have to answer to anybody else. What I've done in my past is what I've done. What he's done in his past is what he did. But I know my son made it right with Jesus before he died. I didn't even know he did, but it was told to me by the pastor that he made it right with. So that's all I needed to know. And for another pastor to say that one child can go and another child can't, how is that a Christian act?
Well, let me ask you something, you know, about the pastors. You know, a lot of people have had a lot of complaints about the pastors. Now, I think we can say that they have changed from the 60s until now. This is a whole different breed of pastor. But what's behind their motivation? What do you see that's causing these guys to be not as concerned? People have said that they're not the activist anymore, community activists, and it seems like they're almost concerned with, I hate to use the word fiefdoms, but just their own clique, their own gang, so to speak.
And that's exactly what I feel. If you're not in that church and you're not a church member, I don't feel like you matter, because, I mean, I'm not going to name names of churches, which I could, but there are a few churches right now, right here, that have the assistance to help our community for women who need a place to pay their rent, and they refuse it. But yet you can go to these white churches, as I'll call them, the Broadway Christian, you can go to St. Vincent de Paul and get all the funding you need and get the prayer. But there are churches right now, I'll say it, progressive. You have the funding there to help your people in that community. How many people have you helped? How many times have you knocked on the door over there on John Street to see who's sick, to see who's shut in? No. But let it be one of your members that was a big tither, you'll hear about it all in the bulletin. You'll hear about it all in the church. And I just don't understand. What's the use of having 3 services and you're not serving any of the sinners? And I said it, Denise Trigg, and I'm not going to bite my tongue about it, because I lived across the street from Progressive with my grandmother, took care of her. Not once did they come and ask, was she okay? And it wasn't just her. That whole neighborhood was full of elderly people that owned those houses. No member ever came over there. No member did anything as far as an event to get our black kids in the community to come out. Churches have failed us. It's about money in the church. If you can't tithe, you're looked down on. Because I don't understand how church members can say, that's my pastor, and you walking and he riding around in a Cadillac. How is that your pastor? Who is he pastoring to, the Cadillac dealer? And I'm just going to say it because I can say it. I grew up in the church, so they can call me what they want to call me, but I know Christ. And standing in the garage don't make you a Cadillac no more than sitting in the pew make you a Christian.